Hello, I'm Jerry Riley with You Can Check Us Out Now. I'd like to welcome you to our podcast today. As usual, one of the first things I'd like to remind you to do, please, is to shop local, help support your local businesses. It's very important with today's online shopping, Amazon and big box stores, our local businesses certainly need all of our support. Throughout our podcast today, I will be scrolling information across the bottom about some of our local merchants. Today, we have a very special guest with us. She is the assistant superintendent at Seminole Public School. Her name is Angela Willmett, and I'd like to bring Angela on with us now. Good morning, Angela. How are you
Good,
today?
good morning. I'm wonderful. Thanks for having me.
Well, we're certainly excited to have the opportunity to visit with you today. School has changed a lot over the last couple of years. We've had some challenges. We've always had challenges with our school, but we've had an extra thing thrown in the mix, and that's something called COVID. And
Hmm.
I know our processes of teaching has changed a lot from in live classroom settings to meeting online. And I'd like to visit with you a little bit, Angela, today about what Seminole has done to uh, work with those particular challenges. I know you have a project coming up this summer, and I want to talk about that just a little bit too. So, Angela, could you tell us a little bit about what Seminole School has done and your approach to this COVID virus?
Yes, we started planning right away. Spring break we fully thought we were coming back, and it was a shock to us when we found out that we weren't. So immediately went into planning and looking at the CDC guidelines, looking at all of the factors to see what was the best approach. And so we feel at Seminole schools that the kiddos wear masks. They do a really good job. We were hesitant. My background is early childhood, so I thought for sure that we were going to struggle with 4 and 5-year-olds wearing masks, but I am pleased to find out that I was wrong. Those kiddos do just fine. They wear their masks all day. Sometimes we have to remind them, maybe pull your mask up, but for the most part, there is absolutely no issue with them wearing masks. And we believe that that is best practice. So all the teachers and students wear masks every day.
Well, Angela, back when I was in school, I probably would have liked to have wore a mask. Therefore, they wouldn't have known who was talking in the classroom.
Yeah.
So,
And we also kind of have in our elementaries a pod philosophy. What we do is our classroom is like a family. Each classroom, those kiddos, we distance the best that we can, but we also understand that when they're little, they're going to get closer, and we just have to do our best to keep them apart. But that pod principle is where if there is one positive case, just a classroom goes home, not the entire student body has to be affected. So that's been really helpful too in keeping the most kids possible in school.
Angela, would you say that dealing with this pandemic and through um, the various ways we've had to teach over the last couple of years has impacted education in a positive way or a negative way?
Both. I think that it's been a struggle, but I'm always a person that wants to look at the silver lining and look for it, and I'm a glass full kind of girl. So I think that it's a threshold or a point where we can make good decisions to help kids even more. And when you look at virtual learning and all of the challenges that came with that, that was the bad part. That steep, immediate learning curve, that was the hard part. But the good part now is due to CARES money, we're 1-to-1. Every child has a device in their hands, and teachers were provided lots of professional development to get ready for that. So in retrospect, the good thing is we're ready. Also, when you look at where kids are at, we don't want to assume that kids are behind, because sometimes we look at those grade level, the standards at the end, those are pretty arbitrary. Our kids have been learning, even though it hasn't been typical or traditional. They are definitely in the learning process. They're just not learning what we thought they would learn according to the state standards. So we're giving them credit for that learning, and we are moving forward thinking of their learning as unfinished. It was no fault of anyone that the pandemic happened. It's just something that we have to deal with now. So now that we're dealing with it, we're going to do everything we can to close any gaps that might be there from that unfinished learning. And part of that initiative is a continuous learning plan that includes summer learning. I'm always hesitant to say summer camp because kids don't, or summer school, because kids don't want to go to summer school. But so we have looked at making it a fun and interactive camp style, with all kinds of activities planned to get kids excited and ready. Some of those activities are, a mobile dairy is coming. We are going to field trips. We have a vet is going to come out who's also an author, emergency responders, paramedics, firefighters, police officers. Our kids are going to learn CPR. We're going to build forts in the foyer with refrigerator boxes and have math fact wars and STEM initiatives. We're going to have big music where we're going to have a choir at the end. It's just, we're going to do survival skills, especially the kids like that whole TV show Survivor, and we're going to do some of that fun stuff, and also intramural sporting events all throughout. So we're really excited. We want to get kids engaged, but in the middle of all of the fun, we're going to be offering intensive reading and math intervention for kids.
It's like a fun time, and you really have a unique name for that camp, Angela. What are you calling that camp?
Camp I Can. There's nothing impossible, and COVID can't stop us, and it won't stop us, and we're moving forward. So we're excited.
Well, I really like that name, Camp I Can. It sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun. And in the classroom setting part of that camp, Angela, what will be your primary focus during that period of time?
Reading is our definite focus. One of the things that we know is just putting kids in a group and saying, these are the kids that struggle, these are the kids that don't, these are the kids that are more high in their aptitude. That doesn't necessarily work. What works is looking at data and figuring out specifically what holes are there, what skills are they missing in order to move to the next level with their reading ability. So that's what we're going to do, is the kids are going to be in the group specifically with other kids who are missing that same skill. And the hope is that they quickly move through the continuum of learning to read so that they get to grade level without even realizing it, because it's just going to be a lot of fun and intense, and according to what they need. A lot of times in education, we forget that we have the ability, kind of like a doctor gives you a prescription for something. When we can look at the data, we can actually figure out what their prescription needs to be, and we get to administer that through good instruction. So we're excited. We think we're going to see a lot of gains.
Well, the data tells it all, doesn't it?
It does. It's everything.
Now, Angela, is this a camp that's mandatory, or is it voluntary? And if it's voluntary, how would I go about signing my children up to attend?
It is voluntary, and it is open to any student in the surrounding areas, not just Seminole Public School students. It's not mandatory, but we sure are encouraging our students who we know are struggling to come. But we're hoping that all children come, whether they're struggling or not, and whether they go to Seminole Public Schools or not. And how you sign up is the website. If you go to our school website, which is sbs.k12.ok.us, or just Google Seminole Public Schools, it'll get you there, and it's on the front page of the website.
Well, that's I like that also, that it's not just for Seminole public school students. Anybody in the area that wants to participate is welcome to attend. That's really good. I like that.
Yep, we're all a family. They're all our kids.
That's right. Now, when will this camp start, and when will it end?
We're having a big kickoff on June the 1st at 11 a.m. Bar S has donated hot dogs, and we're going to have s'mores and snow cones, and we're making a big fake campfire in the middle of the football field, and we're going to have everyone spaced out, social distance, all up in the stands, and some of the kids on the ground, and we're going to do different games. The kids are right now in the middle of a challenge where if they have good behavior, they get to put marble in a jar, and whoever gets the most marbles in the jar gets to dunk the principal, and fun things like that. So they're really excited because there's lots of healthy and fun competition going on. So we're looking forward to it. And this chants and the songs making it memorable for them. I want it to be that when they are 25 years old, they're going to look back and say, well, I loved Camp I Can. I loved going, and I loved that feeling of community and being together. There's nothing like that.
Well, I want to thank you for putting that camp together, and also want to thank all of the volunteers and teachers that will be there participating and giving up their time during the summer often that goes unnoticed. It takes people behind the scene to make these things come together. And I want to thank you for that service. Now, you talked about social distancing. That kind of leads into the other topic. We're coming
Mhm.
up on that time of year that for some are going to be graduating, and that's
Yes.
a very memorable part of their education is that graduation and all the things that surround graduation. Tell me a little bit about how that's going to unfold this year. When is graduation going to be? The festivities around graduation, where it's going to be held, and how you will handle social distancing during the graduation process.
Yes, we love the fact that we get to have graduation every year on our football field. It is tradition, and we're very hopeful that that can continue. And that's contingent upon inclement weather. As long as it does not rain, we're going to be on the football field, and there won't be any restriction in the number of guests because with all of the room, we can safely physically distance and but if it rains, we're going to have to move the graduation to the Seminole High School gym. And in the gym, there is a little bit less capacity. So we'll have to issue tickets at that point. But we'll make sure that parents know ahead of the time that this is plan A and this is plan B. And that if plan B happens, the tickets can be picked up probably even the day before or the day of graduation. That's probably how long it will take to make a decision based on rain. And the graduation is on May the 25th at 8 p.m. And we're having baccalaureate that Sunday before the 23rd at 5 p.m. And that will be at the high school gym. Baccalaureate will.
Well, Angela, you may not have had an opportunity to come up with the final number. So, if it is moved inside,
Mhm.
will there be so many tickets allocated per family? How will that work? Have you discussed that? Do you know how that will be handled?
We've discussed it. We know what the capacity would be if it's at a certain percentage. So we are just going to look at the number of students and figure out what that capacity would be. We're thinking probably four-ish tickets a piece, but we're not quite sure right now.
So that's still to be determined.
Hmm.
Angela, I want to really thank you for your time this morning. We need to have more of these sessions and very informative. I'm really excited to see what you're doing during your summer camp. Again, I want to thank you and the staff of putting that program together. I want to thank all of the participants for that program. It can't happen without people in the background making it work. And I want to thank them also. And again, thank you for your time today. I wish you luck with your upcoming graduation ceremonies and festivities around graduation. And I want to wish you luck during your summer of Camp I Can. I really like that name. So
Thank you.
again, I want to thank you for your time today. And in the meantime, I want to remind everybody to be safe, social distance, wear your mask, and we'll see you soon. Thanks, Angela.
Thank you. Appreciate it.